I can't speak for you guys, but I love what we do. I love this stuff. And, you know, I personally don't think there's a better job that you could do in terms of, we make crap look good all day. You know, that's, at the end of the day, something much better than climbing trees and chopping down limbs or something. So instead of an inspirational moment or a thought to ponder, I wanted to do a game today, an exercise. And the first exercise that I came up with is unfortunately one of the most challenging ones, but it's just the first game, so we'll get over it. What we need for this game is a sheet of paper and a pencil or pen. So get it and let me know when you got it.
I'm prepared.
You're prepared? Okay, great. The goal of design is to attract and hold the viewer's attention, right? Like whether it's a print piece or a website or an e-blast or whatever, the ultimate goal is to pull somebody in. So how do you do that? And this particular exercise and or game is trying to train our eye on pulling our eye in or someone's eye in by using unequal spacing. You have an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper that's hopefully blank, and you have a pen or a pencil. You're going to make a dot, but before you do this dot, try to start looking at where the edge of the paper is and think about where you're going to add this dot. So go ahead and put the dot on the page somewhere. Okay? Yell booyah when you got it.
Booyah.
She's really gonna make sure that this dot is in the right spot. Now we're gonna add a second dot. But when you add the second dot, think about where that other dot was and still the edge of the page. Trying not to be equal in its spacing in terms of the horizontal or vertical alignment.
Okay.
So, do you feel or see the symmetry between these two elements on the page?
Yeah.
I'm envious of you guys then, because I don't. You know, like, I still struggle with this idea of how these 2 points can be connected or how this is influencing something. I mean, I don't know, my eye is going to the first dot I did, which is to the top left. I don't know, it kind of like wants to jump off the side of a cliff to jump over to the second dot. I guess that's bringing my eye into the page and making it want to dance around. When we're doing an ad or whatever it is, and I don't want to be specific with a particular project on this because it's designed for design's sake, that first element is most likely the most critical point. So it's the headline, or it's the promotion, or it's the logo, or it's whatever. And so it's like trying to consider where would be the best spot to start that. But then as we start adding additional elements, is that original spot still that most effective space? Is it in the best area? So, all right, now take that same page and flip it over and divide it into 4 quarters. Now, in each quarter, do the same thing. So start with the first one. And really what we're trying to do here is put a variety of different solutions. Like, don't just keep doing the same dots. A combination of 2 dots, or, you know, 1 dot and then the second dot. But then how does that relate to the paper edge? And, you know, are you just plopping it on there and you're seeing it as 2 dots, or are you starting to feel the tension or the relationship or the looseness between these 2 elements? And, you know, go ahead and fill the rest of the quadrants out to see, you know, if there's anything kind of fun happening. I mean, like, put 2 close together, you know. Actually, so here's the thing, right? My instinct was to want to put 2 next to each other off to the side. And the point to this exercise is that, all right, there is a certain level of symmetry when things align, but the exercise is to try to intrigue somebody, bring somebody into the design, attract the viewer by using unequal spacing. So instead of lining them up perfectly, because, an untrained eye, let's say even in photography, would do that. They would think, oh, center the content in the middle of the frame. When you know what? Centering it in the middle of the frame is actually kind of boring. What if you threw that off to the side? And, right now we're talking about design. But we're designing something without something to design with. And it's, we're just putting a stupid dot on the page. Okay, so now either on the other side or on a new page, fill the page with a bunch of rectangles. Like try to have like 12 different rectangles or whatever. I mean, I have 3, 6, 9, the goose drank wine,
What is it in rectangles all over it?
Yeah, rectangles. You want to now work horizontally. And then inside of those rectangles, fill this page with a variety of combinations of 2 dots. Now what we're doing is we're training our eye on seeing, just how different these things can happen, what kind of effects they create by just changing their alignments. Just when you do these, make sure that nothing is aligned vertically or horizontally. It's that instinct. You want to center the text underneath an image. This is really what it's trying to do, and I think the freer that we are in the design, it'll make us enjoy doing design more. Like constantly push what we're doing. Let's make sure that, we're doing something that we feel proud of, that we're encouraged to want to show people. Like, play around with it, and take a chance. I mean, the worst that could happen is the client could say no. I was playing with an exercise that we'll do in the future, which is an adjective sort. I took basically the client and tried to create a thesaurus or a variety of different ways to say their name, to see if these different words and combinations actually inspired an idea. Their main icon is that apple tree, that logo. And next thing you know, I started playing with apples and other ways of saying apples, and then I saw apples and oranges. And I was like, man, don't compare apples and oranges. And now I went off onto a whole nother tangent of, you can't compare our golf course to the other one because, or whatever. And I kind of shared it with Sean while I was thinking about it, and he was like, yeah, it's going to be a tough sell for the golf courses. I was like, fine, whatever, we'll move on. But the whole point was that we at least try, we try to push the envelope. If it fails, it fails. Hopefully the clients will see or appreciate the effort. But if you want, I would love for you to shoot your drawing with your smartphone and or scan that puppy in. And email it to me, guest@uptoparmarketing.com. You can email it to that, and we'll see who gets the big thumbs up award for this exercise. To me, when I did this, and even now, I still feel a little like, I just feel like I'm putting plots on a page. Do you see symmetry happen? And, well, the opposite of symmetry. Do you see something that would actually pull your attention into the page? Like, is it better having it shifted off in these random directions than just kind of stacking it in there in a centered, organized? One of the things in balance when people say, where does your eye go on the page? I'm like, my eye, how do I know where my eye goes? And some analogies on that is, think of it as a ball dropping at the top of the page. Since we read left to right from top to bottom, the ball drops from the top. Does it have a logical place to go to next? Like, if it was in gravity and you drop that ball, is it bouncing that ball within the page and keeping you to where, I don't know, the call to action would be, or the headline, or the promotion, or the dot, And if we can kind of visualize that and see that, I think it'll help in, when we do a badass design, but we're not quite sure why it's badass. And or we know it's badass because it is in, moving your eye around the page in a creative fashion, and the client's like, oh, I don't like that. Can you center that text and, oh, look at all that negative space over there. Can you fill that with my logo and make it bigger? And it's like, okay, yes, we can do that, but please understand we did this on for purpose, and this is why we did it. We want to pull the person's attention in. We fear that if we do that, we could then lose the opportunity to pull somebody in. Oh, we'll just do it anyway. Okay, very good.